Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are always thrilled to have this guest on. He's been given great content. How many shows do you think you've done now? Gary White's been with us on Spotlight.
As many as you invite me to.
We could have
which
you
I'm
on.
happy to join you on.
Oh my goodness, we could have you on all the time. Gary is the inimitable CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. 10 years now you've been there, is that right, or 11?
Gosh, yeah, you know what? I think today, as a matter of fact, or something like that, it's 11 years. So I've gone past my decade mark.
Yeah, well, good, because everybody has voted in San Diego County, and you're never allowed to leave for that matter. And you just done so many wonderful things.
You know what? This is why I love talking to you. I'll do it. I'll join you anytime you want. Thank you, Drew.
Well, listen, it's so true. If we went through all the things you have done in your 11 years here, and I know it's not you. You hate when we say this because you have a great team, you got a great board, and you got great volunteers, and certainly that's what makes it happen. But we are better for it, and we just hope you continue to do this. And, we got some, some serious topics here right out of the gate. Coyote injured in an illegal jaw trap. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, jaw traps are illegal in California. They're illegal in 7 states throughout the United States. Coney bear traps, the ones that actually snap and kill theoretically humanely, are related to jaw traps. But these jaw traps, especially the ones that aren't padded, although both padded and non-padded jaw traps are illegal in California and have been for quite a long time. We still see them, unfortunately. And this poor coyote, right in the Carlsbad Escondido area in the early spring, got caught in a jaw trap. And unfortunately, it's a horrific thing to do to any living creature. We ended up with the coyote because the poor animal was hanging from a fence from an illegal jaw trap. So this poor animal came to us. We actually got him up to our Ramona Wildlife Center, and thankfully the injuries weren't life-threatening, but they were terrible. Got the coyote back on her feet and rehabilitated her for a little while, and then released her back out to where we found her. And hopefully she will not find another jaw trap. But I mean, I can't stress it enough. And Drew, you're a big animal advocate, so I'm sure you'll echo this. Please don't use snares, don't use jaw traps, don't use coney bear traps. None of these are humane. And it's really unfortunate that in 2023, we still see these horrific devices of torture. That's really all we can call it, out in the wild, and they're not legal, especially in California.
Well, and I also want to mention that for those folks who don't, you have law enforcement capabilities also with the Humane Society, do you not?
We do. We have a very large humane law enforcement division. We got one of the largest in California, and we cover 14 cities in San Diego County, and we're here to help in the unincorporated areas whenever our partners at County Animal Services ask us. But our entire philosophy is really education and support for the community. We don't really want to be out there having to enforce horrific criminal activity not to happen, but we're there for that. We don't want to see that kind of activity happening, and we're there when we have to be, but we'd much prefer to be out there educating and supporting the community rather than arresting people that break the law.
Yeah, without question. We're talking to Dr. Gary Weitzman, who's the president and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. union doing wonderful things for our region and our citizens and residents for more than 60 years. But I think it's important to let people know, Gary, on this, especially for animal lovers, that if you do something like this, you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and you should be in this aspect of it, because there is nothing, at least in us animal lovers world, that is more inhumane than doing something that happened to that coyote.
Absolutely.
And we want to make sure people are certainly aware of that aspect of it. Talk a little bit about, you're sponsoring a veterinary debt relief and veterinary telehealth bills. And I love it.
And there's my young German Shepherd, who's always got opinions happening here.
I love the German Shepherd.
You can
put
something a little more.
You can put him on if you'd like.
My loud girl over here is a couple of legislative things we're working on, namely trying to respond to the severe shortage of veterinarians throughout the United States, definitely in California, but the entire country, we're seeing a shortage of veterinarians. There's predictions that by 2030, we will only have about 60% of the veterinarians that are estimated to be needed throughout this country. Different pockets more higher and other areas lower. California, we're already experiencing it. Anybody listening that has tried to bring their pet into private practice here in our county knows that the wait times can be really long. Never mind the wait times to get an appointment. Even if you have to go in as an emergency, that wait can be really long. And it's not the practice's fault. It's simply that there's too much work to be done by the number of vets that we've got. So what we're hoping to do is two things. We want to actually encourage more veterinarians to come right out of vet school and to go into areas of California where there actually are shortages of vets, shortages of veterinary care, by actually incentivizing them to that we would pay for their vet school education. It's roughly, on average, about $185,000 in debt to get a vet through veterinary school, and then they go into practice. We want to help them with debt relief, and that's one of these bills. And the idea is to incentivize more vets to come into California or to stay in California and definitely work in areas where there are shortages. So it's not like they will all descend upon San Francisco, or here at Rancho Santa Fe, or places where there are, fortunately, a lot of, veterinarians. They'll go to places that we really need them. And secondly, they'll also go to animal shelters. We're really lucky here at San Diego Humane Society because we've got about 30 vets that are full-time vets here in our organization. We do a lot of work for the public. We certainly do a lot of work for the 40,000 companion animals coming into our shelter. But we know that the rest of California, there are huge deficits. So this bill will actually help to get those vets into those areas too. So I'm really excited about this. If this passes, we really will have done something incredibly progressive for this state to ensure that our animals are taken care of medically. It's really critical.
Well, and let me ask this question. Is it because less and less people are going to veterinary school? Is it because more and more people are having pets now? And you have that as a perfect storm? Okay, so you've got less people that want to become veterinarians. You got more people that are going to need veterinarian help. And that is obviously not a good combination, is it?
You're right. You're absolutely right. That's a really good question. It is both of those. One, it's incredibly expensive to go to vet school. So it's an 8-year program, 4 years undergraduate, and 4 years of professional education, plus sometimes an internship, occasionally residencies, and more veterinarians are actually choosing that path as veterinary medicine is getting more segmented, like human medicine, where it's so specialized in some degree that you really can't know everything for every species. So residencies are really important now. But that whole process is incredibly time-consuming and incredibly expensive. What it's done is actually basically make it make it less attractive. Let's put it that way for young people to actually decide to go that path. Because at the end of all that, veterinarians make about a third of what human physicians make, with an equal amount of debt. It just doesn't make sense economically. So that's one real foundational problem with veterinary education and with the entire practice of veterinary medicine. The second thing is that really there's a huge level of burnout in veterinary medicine. At one point, I don't know, this might even still be the case, it was considered to be the second highest profession in terms of suicide rate.
Wow.
Which is so distressing to hear. I mean, as a vet myself, we want to take care of animals, we want to take care of families. Certainly there's a huge compassion equation in here. And the fact that my colleagues actually get to the lowest points in their lives really is distressing. And that's been the case for a couple of decades now. So hoping that we can at least take off some of the stress, financial stress that vets undergo. By removing some of the debt burden that they have to live with for 10, 15 years after they get into practice. Really hoping that this will help.
Let me ask you this. Again, we're talking to Dr. Gary Weitzman. He is the president and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Listen, you've been in this field for quite a while now. And when you mentioned this, 4 years of undergrad, 4 years, of vet school, and then maybe add a internship, a residency, and now you're into 10. If you specialize, maybe you're into 12. I don't know, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Is there a way, without trying to short circuit what a veterinarian needs to know, can you get as much education on that in 6 years or 8 years? Does it have to be, I'm sure that's been discussed as well, is, we really don't need to do 10 years. And we don't want to do 1 year, obviously, right? Right.
Right. No, we don't want to do that. No, actually, brilliant question, because that is a model that's being looked at. It actually exists in well, I guess it is human medical training, right. That actually that same 8-year time frame can be compressed into 7 years. I'm not familiar with 6-year programs, but that's a possibility as well. It's very rare in veterinary medicine, but it does exist. For instance, one of the newest schools to train veterinarians is University of Arizona, and it's part of the university system in Arizona, and it's actually it's a 7-year program, so 3 years of undergraduate. Right. I am so sorry. It is a 6-year program. Right. So it's 2 years of undergraduate plus 4 years, if I do my math correctly, plus 4 years of veterinary school. It's combined all in one, so it's 6 years. And imagine if school costs minimum of $50,000, $60,000 a year. Right there is $120,000 of savings. And hopefully that will actually train wonderful vets. Their first class is going to graduate in, I think it's actually this year, which is really cool because I keep thinking of it as a brand new program. But that is one of the solutions to try to take some of this debt burden away from new vets as they're just entering the field.
No, there's no question. Gary, when we come back from break, I want to talk a little bit more about that. I want to talk about the critical need of veterinary telehealth, of course. And then, of course, on Thursday, the 29th of June, the Humane Society's Day of Giving as well. And we always save time, as you know, in the second half of the show, what our listeners can do to support your efforts. We've already heard a lot, contribute to these bills, support these bills you just mentioned right now. Best thing that anyone can do to support your efforts is be someone that's good to animals. I mean, that would be
absolutely
without question. We're going to be right back after a break with Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing terrific things in San Diego for more than 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, The unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, as you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, these beautiful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. And this credit union just been doing remarkable things in San Diego for more than 60 years. We are chatting with Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society, talking about the very critical need for more veterinarians. And they got a couple bills that they're pushing to get more folks into this field. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, you said by 2030 that it is projected that we'll only have 60% of the veterinarians we'll need. Is that correct?
Roughly, and in some places, far fewer than that.
Right. Which is just shocking. Anybody who knows, and I know this firsthand, as Gary had helped us with our beloved Jesse, the golden, passed away not too long ago. It was a challenge to get some of that veterinarian help, and we're indebted to you, our family, Gary, for helping us out with that. There's nothing, certainly more stunning when you lose your beloved animal, dog, cat, whatever the case may be, and we know some of that was caused by some of the shortage, some of the challenges in this. So talk about veterinary telehealth.
Yeah, actually, Drew, remarkably, I just wanted, if I could comment on what you just said.
Yeah.
You unfortunately got to experience it yourself. I think that it was actually quite difficult to get an appointment in for surgery for you, and It was kind of a miracle that it happened. So you got to experience it yourself. It shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't be like that. So the second bill that we're sponsoring is a telehealth bill, and this one actually, I'm overjoyed by this one, and I'm optimistic about this one passing this year. The idea is actually that we can do what happens in human medicine, that you can talk to your doctor, you can see your doctor, you can see your nurse practitioner or your physician's assistant through another means besides being there in person. And for so many animals, so many families, it's very difficult, if not in some cases impossible, to get their pet to a vet physically. This would actually open up an entire world of providing care to animals that may not be able to get into a clinic. Now, obviously, we don't want to get rid of that whole, hands-on, eyes-on physical experience of being able to do a patient exam and being able to talk and see what's going on. But sometimes we don't have to physically be there. And especially in California, the laws are so draconian still. We're really about 30 years behind. We need to open up this pathway so that there is a platform for people to have their vets, to get care for their vets without necessarily always having to go into a vet clinic. One, it's really difficult to get into that clinic, as we just talked about.
Right.
And two, for a lot of families, it's nearly impossible to get there because of access to the clinic, being able to drive into that clinic, or in some communities, there isn't a vet practice around for 50 miles. So this would open up an entire world of being able to provide care. We always want to make sure that vets have a chance to actually say, hey, listen, I can't do this, on the phone or on Zoom. I need you to come in. We'll have to deal with that. Okay. We want to make sure that vets always have that prerogative, and they do. But there's a lot of cases where you can do a lot of care for animals by talking to somebody on the phone or on Zoom.
Well, listen, and there's nothing more critical than that. As you might remember, because you were helpful on this, it seems to be you became our vet, for God's sake, over here. And the fact that you haven't blocked off my phone call is amazing. When our beloved Jesse ate 9 pounds of sand. Remember that one?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Was it really 9 pounds?
9 pounds.
Was it
Oh yeah, we brought into ER for
Yes.
pets, and the dog weighed 194, and I go, well, dog normally weighs 185, for God's sake. 9 pounds of sand. Obviously got taken care of, but thanks to you, it was almost like a telehealth call because you gave us some direction of what we should do, and some of the folks in your area. Talk a little bit about this very, very important day of giving you have on Thursday, the 29th of June, San Diego Humane Society Day of Giving.
Right. It's this is an annual event. This year it's called Give Humane for us in San Diego Humane Society, and it's our 8th year of doing this, and we're hoping to raise about $800,000. Even more than that, to provide care for nearly 40,000 animals throughout San Diego County. So companion animals and wildlife. It's a huge event. We used to do a telethon years and years
I remember.
I kind of miss the energy of that one day, although it was exhausting. But we switched over to a Day of Giving, and again this year it's called Give Humane. And honestly, the reception has been incredibly energizing, almost as much as doing a full 6-hour telethon. But it's fundamental for us. It really launches us into our new fiscal year of providing veterinary care for all the animals we see, keeping our kitten nursery going, taking care of people who have lost their pets and getting them reunited, our pet pantry, our behavior programs, our wildlife program that takes care of nearly 13,000 animals a year. We couldn't do what we do without the generosity of the community. That's what Give Humane is. That's what our Day of Giving is this year.
Now, do they just go to the website? How's that work?
They can. Yeah, absolutely. It's anytime. It's already up and going. It's sddayofgiving.org, all one word. And the actual Day of Giving itself is on June 29th this year. So it's the last Thursday of every June. And any support that we can get from anybody will help us tremendously to take care of animals and their families.
Yeah, and I want to make that point out, and you and I have talked about this before. There's no such thing as too small of a donation. $5, multiply that by several 100,000 people, to be honest with you, or whatever. It's just being connected and just helping, whether you got an animal or not, a pet or not.
Yep, absolutely. And it does things like, and I feel like we're on a telephone, and I really appreciate that, Drew, but it really does things like help us to have our community vet program. And we were just talking about veterinary care and access to care, and our program that started this year is open to the public. We ask that people have a financial need to use our services rather than going to their private practices. But we're open 4 days a week, and we want to take care of people's pets. And this program, this Day of Giving, Give Humane, on June 29th, actually will provide us the funds to take care of people with their pets that can't access that care anywhere else.
Well, yeah, and I also want to sort of end this with something that we chatted about in the last interview, but it's still with you, in that you guys continue to remain at over capacity. You've got a ton of animals, and it gets to a point there's going to be eventually a breaking point, is it not?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have more dogs this year than we have ever had at one time in our 143-year history. And it's dogs. Interestingly enough, it's dogs, big dogs. So this is something that it may be a result of the pandemic in the last few years, and people's houses are full of new pets, and so there's not the ability to take in more. It may be that spay-neuter kind of dropped off while everyone was preserving personal protective equipment during the pandemic. So a lot of spay-neuter programs were closed down a little bit, so there's new puppies. But honestly, we've got a lot of dogs, and we really would appeal to the public to think of us to come and adopt for their new best friend for their family. And if you can't adopt, come and foster. We'd love that. And just go to sthumane.org, and we've got all the information about, of course, adopting, but also fostering, and any help there would be greatly appreciated.
No, that sounds great. Well, Gary, it's always a pleasure and an honor to have you on. Next time, we'll have to convince Nina to say you're not allowed to do it by Zoom. Even this was a great interview, by the way. I always love to have you in studio. I know the schedule didn't work out today for that, but can't wait to have you back on. You're a frequent guest. The content you provide our listeners is always top shelf, and we'll look forward to seeing you in very, very shortly back in studio. How's that sound?
Absolutely great, Drew. I always love seeing you. It's a highlight of my month when I get to.
Well, obviously, this shows you have nothing going on. But I think it's terrific, and really appreciate you. Please say hi to your talented staff, and look forward to your next visit here on our Spotlight in the Community show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Drew.
You bet. We've been chatting with Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of the San Diego Humane Society. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you've been listening to another edition of Spotlight on the Community, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.